Hey, what's going on? Today, I'd like to talk about day packs. What to bring, what not to bring, and what to think about. Okay, so if you go on the YouTubes or go on the Googles and you're looking at, see what you want to bring for a day pack, because maybe you've just started hiking or maybe you're wanting to get back in shape or whatever, there is a plethora of different things, right? Out there you can find anywhere from bring maybe a small butt pack of stuff or a fanny pack to a small bag to bring a full-blown rucksack. So depending on what you're doing or depending on where you're going, all of them could be right or all of them could be wrong. I got a couple different philosophies here in this. I've been wearing backpacks since the 90s and going out hiking in the woods for the military or recreational purposes for quite a while. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not even like a survivalist or anything like that. But I have been stuck in the woods. I've had to self-rescue. I've had to call friends to rescue me. I've been in a lot of predicaments, mainly all because I caused them. So because of that, I do have a few ideas about what to do. All right. So let's start with this. What's your environment? Where are you going? How long are you going to be gone? And what kind of trail is it? Okay. If you're going to a place that's maybe right on the outskirts of town, the trail is 2 to 3 miles long and it's well traveled, and any time of day you can find 20 to 30 people out there, and you're just going out there because you're going to go for maybe 2 hours. Something like that, I think you could probably get away with maybe a camelback and a phone, right? More than likely you're probably going to have signal, and you probably just need something to drink, and you're probably just going to, go for a 2-hour walk. Something like that, I don't think you need to bring too much. If it's a trail that, again, has a whole bunch of people, but maybe it's a little bit farther out of town, but every time you go on that trail, you see a whole bunch of people out there, and you still have cell phone signal, again, you probably don't need to bring that much. If you live in Colorado like I do, and you go out to the mountains, and you go on trails that maybe take half a day or a full day, and, you're either going up a mountain or go over undulating terrain, and if you do live in the mountains, you know that the weather is very unpredictable. It could be 80 degrees 1 minute, and then 10 minutes later, it could be hailing in the middle of the summer. Or you could have a thunderstorm and it gets down in the 50s. Woke up this morning, it's August, woke up this morning and there was snow on top of Pikes Peak. So the weather here in the mountains is very unpredictable, and because of that, I like to carry certain things, right? So if you're not going on one of those really short trails, if you're not going on one of those uber popular trails, then here's a few things that I like to take, I like to consider, right? I like to grab a bag about like this. This is a 18-liter bag. This just happens to be a Gregory bag. Your bag can be anything really. This is, for me, as I'm 6'2", 265, 270. This is a very small bag. It weighs maybe, 10 pounds-ish. And it's got a whole bunch of good stuff in it, okay? So let's talk about it, right? There is pros and cons to bringing things like a water bladder. The pros are, it's a water bladder, it carries water for you. It's generally right on your back and you don't have to carry it in your hand. The cons are, a lot of them pop. If you don't spend the money to buy a good one, they can bust, they can get holes, and then you have a wet mess down your butt. If it's cold out, these can freeze pretty easily. If you keep it out in the sun a long time, the UV rays will actually make the tube very brittle, and you have to replace the tube. And if you don't look at it and inspect it, then it could break on you while you're out there. Another thing I carry is a water filter. I just got this new one here. This is called the Holy Grail, or the Grail. It's a water filter that you basically can scoop up dirty water with this. The filter's right here. You put it in here, get some ventilation, and you just push it down, and it filters the water for you. The great thing about this is it not only gets rid of like pathogens and stuff, it also gets rid of viruses. And when you fill this up, it's good clean water. You can dump it in your Camelback, fill that up, and then fill this up, and then you can have, this is a 2-liter Camelback plus a 1-liter bottle, so you have 3 liters of water. That should sustain you for quite a while. And again, you can also keep going back. That way you don't have to stop and boil water, because if you've ever done that, you have to make a fire, you have to boil your water, and then you have to wait for the water to cool down, and it's a drawn out process. Okay. Another thing I like to carry is a GPS. Not that I'm scared of getting lost or anything, but you never know. And I'm the type of guy that I never get lost. So I'm just going to keep walking in the direction that I think is right. And sometimes that doesn't end up the way I want it to. So here we have a Garmin Fortrex 401. This goes on your wrist or on your weapon if you're carrying it. A small little GPS, it's really good. So this is a Garmin 64X, it's a newer one. You can download all of North America on here. It's in color, you can zoom in, you can leave breadcrumbs to see where you went. That way you can follow it back. It's a really good GPS. I can't remember how much it costs, but you can get a little D-ring for it, you can clip it on your belt. I got like a little rubber case for it. And they are, waterproof, resistant. So that's just a couple things, more for peace of mind or reassurance, right? If you leave your truck, you just mark that position, you go on your hike, and you come back and make sure that you're on the right path, okay? So, again, this bag, what is this, like maybe 18 inches by a foot, something like that? It's a good small bag if you're like I said, if you're going out, you're going in the mountains, and it's a summertime, end of spring, summer, or just beginning of fall, right? This bag is not very big. You can carry just a little bit of stuff in here. So some of the stuff I do carry, right? Because let's face it, in a survival situation, what do you hear more often than not? The people that got lost or were found within a mile or two from their vehicle, a mile or two from where they were trying to be. Most of them, almost all of them, were out on a day hike. Why? Because if you're going out camping and you plan on being out there for a week, you're going to bring like this huge rucksack, right? And it's got everything you need. So you've already planned all your contingencies. If you're going out for a day hike, you want to be out there for 2 hours, you're going to take something like this, or maybe something like this, or maybe just a bladder. Because you don't ever think you're going to get lost. You don't ever think, oh, that'll never happen to me. I know the trails too well. I have a phone that has, whatever app on it. I'm just going to follow that. The reality of the situation is 90% of the people that get lost or in a survival situation are because of that mindset. That's why I take at least a small bag that can get me through the night, okay? And that's really all it's for, to get me, 24, 48 hours max, right? So what do we got? We got some tissues also. These can also be used as some butt wipe, just in case, and fire starter, right? We have a little thing of wet fire. If you've ever used that, you know how awesome it is. A flashlight, always need that. A lighter, because why not? A whistle, just in case, for obvious reasons. A small flare. You can buy these at Walmart. They're, if you don't know how to use them, they're super, super easy to use. You pop the cap off, boop. There's a little striker area right there, just like a match. You pull this off, and you just strike it, right? You strike it, this thing shoots flames out, and it burns for, I don't know how long this one's gonna burn for. Let's see, it doesn't say. But it burns up to 2,000 degrees for a few minutes, right? It's really good if, let's say, a bird is looking for you, helicopter, not flapping wings, and you're trying to get their attention, especially like at night. They're going to see this. It's also good for if it's raining out or snow, all of a sudden you got caught in a blizzard. This can dry your wood and start a fire. Always carry these, and you can get it in a 2 or 3 pack for a few bucks at Walmart. 550 cord, this happens to be like the Titan survival cord, that it's got like some jute in it and some wire and stuff like that, so you can use it for more than just cordage. Some tape, there's 1,000 uses for that. Headlamp. Usually if you're going to go on a trail like an all-day hike, you always start early in the morning, so always have a headlamp. Let's see, another flashlight. Here is a signal mirror, just in case. And not only that, you can use this, you know, for hygiene, or you think you got something in your eye, anything like that, right? A couple snacks, and that's it. That's all I keep in the top pouch there, okay? If we open the bag, we still have a lot of room in here, okay? And you can squish this stuff down even more. When I was younger, I always, like, if I had room, that thing was packed, right? I've since gotten out of that because you need room to put stuff in, right? Let's say you're walking and all of a sudden, oh shit, you are lost. You're looking around, you don't know what to do. If you didn't bring a GPS or you didn't bring a map and compass, right? Then you realize, hey, I need to build a shelter. And let's say you're finding a good spot to build a shelter, and along that way you find whatever, cattails, you find certain bark off a tree to light fires, you find, anything, a bird's nest for kindling, anything to start a fire, you can shove that right in here and keep that dry and keep it good to go until you get to the place where you want to build a shelter. So I already pulled out the map of your area. It's very important. You don't want to map somebody else's area. Compass, protractor, all that stuff. I got some paste beads. I also have a Fresnel lens in there, good for making fire and for, enlarging the map a little bit. This is something, again, if you don't know how to use a map and compass, there are tons of videos out there, and you can go to like your local REI and they put on free classes for people to go to. It's a really good skill to learn, especially if you're the type of person that likes to go outside. A rain jacket. This is super, super lightweight. You can roll it up way smaller than this. And it's always good to have, especially like in the mountains, because again, during the summer, it can rain every day at, between 1 and 2 o'clock. If you know anything about the mountains, you know that right after noon, that's when all the storms come in. We were out shooting one day with a bunch of people, and they were all from England, and we took them out, we shot guns and stuff. And then after that, they wanted to go up top of Pikes Peak. And I tried telling them, hey man, we don't want to do that. And because it was right about noon, and they're like, oh, we'll be fine. Okay, fine. We drive up there. It is a literal blizzard when we get up there. And we were coming down, and they had started to shut traffic down and everything. And it was really bad blizzard. It was scary as shit driving down there. Let's see. A little boo-boo kit. Now, you can go crazy with first aid kits, right? You got to think of what's more than likely what's going to happen when you're out there on a day hike, right? Are you going to get shot? Probably not. Are you going to sprain an ankle? Maybe. You're going to break a leg? Maybe. Are you going to, get a headache, something like that, dehydrated? Possibly. So this is just a little bitty first aid kit. It's just got some little stuff in there, Band-Aids, some Roll-Aids, some super glue, things like that. And it's good for a boo-boo kit. If you got a boo-boo, you got an owie, that's perfect. Rat's tourniquet. Again, I've said in another video, if you don't know what a rat's tourniquet is, or all you do is hear bad things about it, but you've never tried using it yourself, or you've never actually asked somebody who's used it, then you don't know what you're talking about. My dog goes with me when I go on hikes. This is a great thing for dogs if, she was to jump over a rock and get stuck and break her leg, or something was to bite her, anything like that, and she got wounded and I had to put a tourniquet on her. This is perfect for her because a cat tourniquet just won't work. If you have kids and they go out with you, this is going to be better than a cat tourniquet, especially if they're small. If you are just a really small person, right? If you have really small arms or really small legs, a cat tourniquet may not work on you either. Plus, this is also a bungee, right? And you can also use it as a little bit of cordage if need be. So, a couple purposes. A bandana, right? So, what are bandanas good for? Well, we can wipe the sweat off, we can cover our head, they can make a impromptu, like a hat. They can also filter for your water, so maybe the place where you're getting water is pretty gross and pretty dirty. You pre-filter it before you put it in here. That way it doesn't clog your filter up, and then you filter it and drink it. Also, This is all cotton, so what can you use with that? You can use it as a Band-Aid, as a pressure dressing. Also, it's all cotton, so you can use it as char cloth if you had to make char cloth. So, tons of uses. I always carry 2 chem lights with me, or what do the civilians call them? Glow sticks. So I carry 2 chem lights with me for a couple things. One, I can always use these at night for a signaling device, a buzz saw, or I can just hang it from a tree or anything like that. I can mark my path. These things are good in 100 different cases. If you're out and you are in a survival situation, it does not matter what color you use, okay? If you're out there and you're doing a buzz saw and you're swinging it around for the helicopter to see you, for search and rescue to see you, they don't care if it's blue, green, red, white, it doesn't matter, right? They're just out there looking for somebody, and if you're signaling for help, they're gonna see that's you. Okay, what else we got in here? Oh, a little beanie hat, so you don't get cold. I mean, that's obvious, right? Pair of gloves, again, don't get cold. A little solar charger for your phone, right? So I got this little solar charger here. You can clip it on the outside of your pack. That way when you're walking around, it charges up, or you can just plug it in before you leave, charge it up. If you happen to get cell phone signal, you can usually send out a message more than you can call somebody. You can send out a text, hey, I'm hurt, I broke a leg, I went on this trail, whatever, right? Boom. So this guy, Shmog, right? This is, again, just as good as a bandana, and probably a little bit more uses because it's a little bigger. So you can kind of, use it as a cravat, anything like that. And also, if you get cold at night, you can wrap this around your head and keep some of that heat in. A little bitty $1 poncho from Walmart. These are awesome. Yeah, they're going to tear. They're not that great, but you know what? If you're caught in a torrential downpour and you didn't have a rain jacket and you were not ready for it, you throw this $1 poncho on and it's going to save your ass. Especially if it starts getting cold and starts hailing on you, you're going to want something like that. And for $1, I mean, can you really be mad at it? Extra cordage. Just, for my background in the military and all that, I just know that, you almost can never have enough cordage. This is my kind of go-to. As you can see, it's already been used. And this is my, emergency cordage. And you can use it for 1,000 things. Okay, so let's see. The last thing in here is what I consider one of the things that kind of most people don't think about, right? This is, and these all kind of go together. So this is a shelter system, okay? Oh, what we got? So this is a shelter system. This is all products by SOL, or Survive Outdoors Longer, right? And everything that we have in here is going to be good for 1 or 2 people, okay? I have here, and it has like a little whistle on it, whatever, right? So if I break this open here, what I have 3 of these survival blankets. These are like the space blankets, right? So let's say there's 2 people. You can use 2 of these to wrap around yourselves. You can use 1 of these for signaling because on the inside it's very reflective. You can mark an X on there, or 3. The universal sign for distress, if you don't know, is 3 X's. So you put, if you had a Sharpie or anything like that, or even like charcoal from a fire, you write 3 X's on there, you hang it up, right? If search and rescue is looking for you and they see a giant orange or a giant reflective thing flapping in the wind, they're going to come to that location, okay? This is a little small bivvy. If you don't know what a bivvy is, it's a really thin sleeping bag that you can lay in and stay warm. Now, when I say stay warm, I mean survive the night. I don't mean nice and toasty like you're going camping in an actual sleeping bag. I mean surviving the night and not dying. And that's really all this is going to do for you. This is a Survive Outdoors Longer shelter kit, okay? This comes with your shelter, your cordage, and your stakes to put it in the ground. Again, emergency shelter, not something that you're going to make a homestead with. but something that can just keep you alive. Now, all this stuff here, it does not weigh that much. It does not cost that much. But if you have to use it, you're out $30. And $30 that's going to save your life if you get caught in a snowstorm or anything is going to be more than adequate, right? With my shelter kits, I like to keep in mind these 3 rules that were taught to me a long time ago, and they're kind of being reiterated nowadays. Okay, it's something to sleep on, it's something to sleep in, and something to sleep under. Okay, so in all of my shelter kits, whether it be a tarp or whether it be an old military style poncho, okay, I always keep your tarp or your poncho or your shelter would be something to sleep under. It'd be like your tent, right? Something to sleep in. You have a bivvy. Each one of these has a garbage bag, okay? Garbage bag in there. One of those like 3 or 5 mil garbage bags, the big thick black contractor bags. You can use that as a bivvy sack, or you can stuff that with leaves or anything like that and tie it up, and that way you have something to sleep on, right? It gets your body away from the ground because, as you know, the ground sucks all your heat out of you. And then all of these have a space blanket in there because you need something to sleep under, right? So the garbage bag and the space blanket can be a little interchangeable, or you can use them both, you know, to sleep on or in. And all of them have that. Now, you might be thinking that's pretty big, right? But this isn't. This is actually really small. This, you know, goes right in my day pack, no problem. This would be more for throwing in a bigger bag if you're going to do like a 2-day hike or a 3-day hike, and that way you have a whole shelter, and you're just using a tent, and maybe you have like a little sleeping mat and a little thin sleeping bag because you're out in the summer. That would be more like what these are for. This is just for straight up emergencies, right? Now, some of the things that you're hopefully always going to have on you is like a watch, okay? My watch just happens to have maps and stuff on it, and I can kind of navigate with it. A knife, a pocket knife, probably, you know, maybe a Leatherman, maybe one of the, like a survival knife, like a Mora or something like that. Something else you're probably going to have, hopefully, is you're going to bring some snacks. These are just some Jack Link's beef jerky. Or maybe you're old school and you bust out an MRE, or maybe you got the old Mountain House going on, right? Any of these is fine. If you bring a couple snacks with you, you know, like this one, you know, I had like a little granola bar in there. It's just something that's gonna get you through the night, right? Now, I said before that my dog comes with me. So what does my dog have? My dog has this little backpack, right? It's a little doggy backpack, and she can carry her own food and her own water. Usually I carry this. This is a Kong, like a water bottle for a dog. You take this off and it's got this scoop right here, and you just dump the water in there and they can drink out of that. A lot of times the water in the streams and stuff, you know, they can even be bad for dogs. They can give them diarrhea and stuff like that. So like I said, this is what I would carry in just a regular day pack. You can fold this stuff down very small. The biggest things, you know, are going to be your hydration and a rain jacket. And you can fold those down real small too. Something like this, you know, again, just for an emergency and just to save your own ass and maybe your buddy's ass if they came out with you. I think that for a few bucks, it's definitely worth it. And you do not have to, by any means, have to do like the Survive Outdoors Longer brand. You can actually go to, let's say, Harbor Freight. You could buy a blue tarp for a couple bucks. You could buy, you know, trash bags, a couple bucks. And then you could buy one of them little cheapy space blankets for a couple bucks. And there you have, you know, what, $5 to $10 into a kit. You know, you get some cordage, and it doesn't have to be 550 cord. You can go to Walmart and get the fake 550 cord and get some stakes. And for, you know, again, $10 to $20, you can have a shelter system. And that shelter system is not something that, you know, is gonna last for a lifetime. It's just for emergencies, just to keep your ass alive for 24 to 48 hours. Hopefully, you know, like I said, I'm pretty stubborn. I'm gonna walk until it's dark, and then probably for a while after that. And then after that, I'm gonna realize, well, son of a bitch, I'm lost. It's midnight. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna start a fire, okay? The easiest way to start a fire is either a lighter or a flare. And if it's cold and wet and I'm tired, I'm probably just gonna use the flare because I can gather some sticks up, I can put that flare underneath there, and it's gonna light a fire. I can pop this up real quick, and maybe you don't even wanna actually have the shelter. You're just gonna curl up in some space blankets and crawl in this bivvy, whatever works for you, okay? But just give you a few ideas of what I take on a day pack, what you can or can't take, Obviously, you have to tailor it to you, to your own needs, to your own environment, and to your own temperatures. If you're down in Florida and you're walking around by the swamps, you probably don't need things like I have, right? You probably need something else. And again, if you're out, in the Arizona desert or anywhere like that, or, if you're going hunting, you're probably going to have a different loadout. But you can still have some of the same stuff. You can still have gloves, you can still have a beanie, you can still have a med kit, still have a map and compass, all that stuff, all right? So this is just a quick video, a little food for thought. So before you go out on a day hike with your loved ones or your friends, ask yourself, are you an asset or are you a liability?